Alright, imagine this. You walk into your local grocery store, head over to the dairy section, and bam! The egg shelf is nearly empty. And if there are any eggs left, they're ridiculously expensive. You check the price tag, and suddenly, you're asking yourself, wait, when did eggs become a luxury item? Eggs used to be one of the most affordable protein sources in America. But now, they're disappearing from shelves, and prices have skyrocketed. So, what's going on? Why is there an egg shortage in the US? Is it just inflation, or is there something bigger at play? Today, we're breaking down the real reasons behind the egg shortage, why prices have surged, and whether this problem is here to stay. 1. The bird flu epidemic, the silent killer of US egg supply. One of the biggest culprits behind the egg shortage. The bird flu. Over the past couple of years, the US has been hit with one of the worst outbreaks of avian influenza, H5N1. Tens of millions of chickens have been infected. Egg-laying hens have been hit the hardest. When a single chicken in a flock gets the virus, entire farms have to kill all their birds to stop the spread. This means fewer hens producing eggs, which naturally causes a massive drop in supply. And in economics, low supply plus high demand equals skyrocketing prices. 2. Inflation and rising feed costs. Bird flu isn't the only problem. Inflation is making everything more expensive. Chicken feed, corn and soybeans has gone up in price. Transportation costs have surged due to fuel prices. Labor costs are rising, making farm operations more expensive. And when farmers have to pay more to keep their chickens alive, they pass those costs down to consumers. That means even if bird flu wasn't an issue, eggs would still be more expensive today than they were a few years ago. 3. Fewer hens, fewer eggs, and a slow recovery. Even when farms start replacing their flocks after a bird flu outbreak, it takes months for new hens to start laying eggs. A young hen, called a pullet, needs about 5 to 6 months before it can lay eggs regularly. Farms that lost thousands, or even millions of birds have to start from scratch. That means egg shortages last long after the initial outbreak. So even if bird flu stops spreading today, we won't see normal egg production for months. 4. Are big corporations keeping prices high on purpose? Now, here's where things get controversial. Some people believe that the egg industry is price gouging, keeping prices high even after production improves. In fact, some major egg companies reported record profits during the shortage. Cal-Maine Foods, the largest egg producer in the US, reported over 700% profit increases in some quarters. Some consumer groups accused egg producers of artificially inflating prices. A few lawsuits have even been filed, arguing that egg companies are making more money than they should off the crisis. So, is the egg shortage 100% natural, or are big corporations taking advantage of the situation? That's still up for debate. But one thing's for sure, prices aren't coming down as fast as they should. 5. More people are buying eggs than ever before. Another surprising reason for the shortage? Higher demand. During inflation, people look for cheap, high-protein foods, and eggs are a go-to choice. Many Americans have cut back on eating out and are cooking more at home. More people are raising their own backyard chickens, which has also put pressure on chick hatcheries. When demand goes up and supply is low, shortages happen. Simple economics. So, what's next? Will egg prices ever go back to normal? Here's what could happen. If bird flu outbreaks slow down, egg production will recover, eventually. Farmers are working to rebuild their flocks, but that takes time. If inflation stabilizes, feed and transportation costs may drop. Consumer demand could shift, reducing pressure on supply. However, there's always the wild card factor: another bird flu outbreak, another supply chain issue, or corporations continuing to keep prices high. Either way, eggs might never be as cheap as they once were. Before we wrap up, let's look at some potential solutions to this egg crisis. 1. Will more farmers turn to cage-free eggs? Over the past few years, many U.S. states have passed laws requiring cage-free eggs. States like California, Massachusetts, and Washington have banned traditional battery cages for hens. Cage-free eggs are often more expensive to produce, which keeps prices higher. Some experts argue that cage-free farms are more resistant to bird flu outbreaks because hens aren't crammed into tight spaces. If more states adopt cage-free laws, we could see long-term changes in egg production. 2. Can the U.S. rely on imported eggs? When supply is tight, some stores start importing eggs from other countries. The U.S. has imported eggs from Mexico, Canada, and even the Netherlands during shortages. However, imported eggs are more expensive due to tariffs and transportation costs. Plus, the U.S. has strict food safety regulations, making large-scale imports difficult. So while importing eggs can help, it's not a perfect solution. 3. Could lab-grown eggs become the future? Here's something futuristic. Scientists are working on plant-based and lab-grown egg alternatives. Brands like Just Egg use mung beans to create an egg-like substitute. Some biotech companies are developing lab-grown eggs made without chickens at all. If these technologies take off, they could reduce dependency on traditional egg farms. However, most people still prefer real eggs, so lab-grown options have a long way to go. 4. The role of backyard chickens in egg supply. With prices so high, more Americans are turning to backyard chicken farming. Sales of chicken coops, feed, and baby chicks have surged in the past few years. Some states and cities are relaxing regulations on keeping chickens at home. Backyard hens could help reduce personal egg costs, but they won't solve the nationwide shortage. If more people start raising their own eggs, demand from grocery stores could decrease, but only on a small scale. Final thoughts. So, next time you're at the grocery store and see a carton of eggs for $6, $7, or even $10, just remember, there's more going on behind the scenes than you think. Whether it's bird flu, inflation, corporate greed, or simple supply and demand, the U.S. egg market is in chaos. But one thing's for sure, Americans love their eggs, and as long as demand stays high, prices will follow. And this isn't just about eggs. Food prices as a whole are shifting. From milk to bread to meat, everything is getting more expensive. The egg shortage is just one piece of a much bigger puzzle. So, will things ever go back to normal? Maybe. But history shows that once prices go up, they rarely drop back down. Instead, we adjust, find alternatives, or change how we shop. If you found this interesting, make sure to like and subscribe so you don't miss out on more deep dives like this one. Who knows? Maybe next time, we'll be talking about why grocery store prices keep rising, even when inflation is under control. Stay curious, and I'll see you in the next one.